Welcome to General Education 8 Ethics. Now I'm inviting you to see the situation of the society this time, especially in the midst of pandemic. All have their own way of responding. The government have their own, the people have their own. At the same time, the society are unique. So, let's look at the situation of the society. Everyone is in dilemma, in panic. Different crimes and violence are committed. People are in chaos. At the same time, people try to struggle in order to restore, to provide peace, to provide order, at the same time, to harmonize the society in order not to be destroyed. In the midst of crime, in the midst of violence, in the midst of chaos, dilemma, and panic, everywhere, here we are, trying to venture out the value, the meaning, and the importance of the human life to survive, to exist, at the same time, to make use of the world as a better place. And this is the goal of General Education 8 Ethics, that gives us what is right to be done. And ethics is always part and should be part of how we construct the world, how we form the world, at the same time, how we should see the world in relation to ourselves, to others, and to the society. So, but what is ethics and where is this course coming from? This course is part of philosophy. And philosophy is not only a wisdom. Philosophy is not only pagiging pilosopo, but philosophy is part of our way of knowing and doing as we live, as we give meaning to ourselves, at the same time as we value our human existence. So, first, what is this philosophy? It came from the word philo and sophia, which means love of wisdom. And philosophy is divided into two. There is the science, and there is also the art. There is the speculative science, and there is also the practical science. Always remember that philosophy is a science because it is a systematized way of knowing, which means philosophy involves system, philosophy involves method, at the same time process, and how we deal with ourselves, how we deal with the surroundings, at the same time how we deal with the world. Philosophy is useful in our humanity. So now, let's have to understand the speculative science and the practical science of philosophy. Speculative science speaks of how we see the world, how we study the world. The practical science are our application coming from what we have known. Say for instance, for speculative science, we have metaphysics, or the study of beings. Beings are everywhere. Human is a being, plant is a being, your chair is a being, everything is a being. And how is this being related to each other? So we have also epistemology, the study of knowledge. That knowledge is a justified true belief it is not only an idea, it is not only a product of our conception, it is not only a recreation of our thought, but it is our encounter with reality coming from our sensorial experiences, like what we have seen in art appreciation. So, epistemology is the theory of knowledge and how we understand knowledge, not only systematically, not only experientially, but in a deeper way, coming from our rationality. Aside from this, we have also cosmology, or the study of mobile realities, that the world has motion, and this motion has always goal and purpose in the non-living and the living beings. That we cannot deny the fact that there is substance, that there is matter, that there is form. At the same time, the world continues to have changes, continues to have mixture, continues to have motion, locomotion, and others. So this is part of cosmology as an inclusion of philosophy. We have also different fields in understanding. We have also different fields inclining now to philosophy. Like we have the philosophy of science, we have the philosophy of law, we have the philosophy of peace, we have philosophy of anthropology, sociology, politics, freedom, and others. As now, subsiding with philosophy in order to understand the wisdom of the world. Aside from the speculative science of philosophy, we have also the practical science. There are only two, and these two can never be added, these two can never be subtracted, because these two are only the practical science in philosophy. First, what made them practical? Because we need to apply them. What made them practical? Because we have to use them every day. So we have in the mind, which is logic. Logic helps us to understand the world. Logic helps us to make a system so that we can analyze, criticize, explain, and express ideas we have in accordance to reality. Logic is not only for mathematics, but logic is used in our daily living. Logic is facilitated by our way of conceptualizing, thinking, and at the same time, expressing. So, the simple as we converse, there is logic when we think what would be the first and what would be the next. So, logic tries to harmonize, tries to synchronize the expression of knowledge we have so that we cannot be mistaken, so that at least we can be understood. In every convocation, in every conversation, at the same time, in every expression, we always say. Aside logic, we have also ethics, and that is the course, General Education 8. Okay? So, ethics is a philosophical science that deals with the morality of human acts. What do we mean by morality of human acts? Here in ethics, we understand what is the proper way of doing, what should be done, how should I conform myself that this action is right and wrong, what would be my criteria. It is always be in the formulation at the same time in the standard of morality. But always remember that moral always varies with culture. Moral always varies with tradition. That the way of thinking and doing and deciding or making choices that we are as a human person is always specified by the factors, the influences that is given to us by the society. So, now, ethics is a foundation of how to live our life. Socrates would say, know thyself. But that know thyself does not mean we have only to know ourselves, but we have to discover what is right to be done so that we can give